Alright, so y'all look at this right here. You see out here, this parking lot? Yeah, I park in the back. See, there's parking spaces all right there. I park in the back here, so I won't have to worry about the other cars and stuff, because people don't know how to park. And look, I'm about to leave work, right? Now look at this truck. You see how close this truck is to my car? I can't even get into the daggone door. Let me get in. Now I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and this truck is right here. Right here. But they other parking spaces right beside me, and they park in between me and another car and get this fucking close.
Alright, so I've been sitting here watching too much Dragon Ball Z, but I gotta go ahead and record this. Let me see, what I wanted to talk about this time and most of the time, in every day, I can say almost, well, I can probably say 99.9% of everything I know, period, comes from somewhere else. When you learn something, let me see, okay, so let me think, learning something from somewhere else, or somebody else, or a different source. What's the other word when you're not learning it from somewhere? I mean, I can give an example. I fixed this relay switch the other day, and what I did was I used a piece of speaker wire to make the contacts touch at a certain point in time whenever you press the horn on the car or whatever. But I knew to use the speaker wire because I knew it was copper on the inside. I knew when it contacted, it would make a connection with the positive and negative side. But see, even though I did that without somebody telling me, hey, use the speaker wire to do this and that, nobody didn't say that to me, it's still something that I did because I learned something from somewhere else. So I guess 100% of everything you know, you learned it from somewhere else. But somewhere the knowledge got to come. Where does it come from? Mistakes. It could come from mistakes, accidents. That's where the knowledge can come from. Yep. I think that's it. So yeah, I got on that subject right there because I was going to say, what I'm about to talk about now is something that I learned from watching another YouTube video, and it is because me and my friends were talking about it while we were riding in the car, and I really didn't know this at the time. I didn't know what I'm about to say right now. I didn't know this at the time, but now that I know it, I want to say it, and some other people might be thinking about it. But yeah, the damn, I know I got it as the title in the picture or whatever, but the North Korea missiles and all that stuff. Okay, so for one, when North Korea fired the missile, it didn't go over the mainland of Japan. It went over like another part, and for whatever reason, that part is just not as important, and I don't know why. But another thing is, they say, I'm always like that, they say that they can see, and I do trust some things and some things I don't trust. It's just, you have to get into detail in a personal conversation with me before you try to figure out what I do and don't believe, and that's just a whole lot of talking to do. But they say, and it do make sense where you can see the trajectory of an object, and they said you can tell that the rocket is not going to go to a certain place. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. If I was to take this box of cigarettes and just hang it here and let it go, which way do you think it's gonna go? You think it's gonna go to that way? You think it's gonna go that way? Like, okay, so they can tell where the rocket was going because of how it was going, but I don't think that's 100%, because at any given time the rocket could change. Like the boosters could push it in a different direction and send it somewhere else. It can have either GPS or manual controls on it that send it somewhere else. So they're saying just because it looked like it was gonna go here, we're pretty sure that it wasn't gonna go there. And that's what one thing they were saying, and I'm not 100% sure if that's right, but they do now. If they knew, like they probably did have like a certain border or whatever. It's like, okay, now if it does go over this far, then we'll do this and that, A, B, and C or whatever. And I do think that's really how they had it going. But yeah, that was one thing they was saying, because people be talking about like we just let North Korea shoot a rocket to wherever they wanted to. Now they do, I mean, the United States and NATO, we are the world police. We tell people what to do. We have good reason for doing it, and we do things that I don't feel like are 100% justified. But if nobody does it, then this world will be a whole lot worse place than it is right now. And so we tell people what to do. So we got rules, and I would say that North Korea, they don't go by our rules, and we say this and they do that. If they want to test out a rocket for their own defense, from a rational standpoint, I would say, hey, let that guy defend this. Let that guy defend himself. But it's a long story, man. You don't want. It's just like, okay, for me right now, if I say I want to have a gun in my house to protect my family, so let me go to a shooting range and shoot a couple of times and get my gun right, get my aim right. But the guy down the street that doesn't like me, he's like, no, I don't even want you to shoot your gun. I don't even want you to be able to defend yourself. I mean, that's North Korea and United States. I mean, it's a long story, man. I can't even say what's right and wrong. But the thing with that right there, it's just North Korea, if they want to test their defensive and offensive capabilities, they got to shoot it towards the water, because if they shoot the other way, they're going over all kinds of land. So what the video was saying was just, it goes over, it has to go over somebody, and the rules we got say you're not supposed to be shooting over top of people like that. But there's no other way they can test and see if they know what they're doing or not. And I mean, like I said, they gonna do that to make sure they can defend themselves. And we say, hey, y'all can't do that, but that's just one part of it. Now, okay, so the rocket went over, it didn't go over the main part of Japan and land in the water. They figured out they can do that. And the next part is that we didn't do anything. Now, there's a couple things ago we didn't do anything, because just imagine, and I like when I talk to people, and like when I talk to somebody like face to face, and I don't go on TV shows and shit like that. If I was on a TV show, it might sound different or something like that. But I try to let people see how it is. Just like, say me right here, Recco, mastermind, or whatever you want to call me. Say I'm a country. Say I'm the United States. And say there's another person sitting right next to me, and they're China. Now I'm Recco, but I'm say I'm the United States, and I say, hey China, did you see what they just did? And China be like, yeah, I saw it. And I be like, man, I'm gonna have to do something about that. And China be like, nah, don't do nothing, man. Don't do nothing right now. I know they did something, but nah. I'm like, come on, China, man. China be like, nah, man, don't do it. So the United States might be very strong when it comes to military and all that, right? But basically, not just the president. Of course, it's corporations and a whole bunch of different people that fucking do all the shit, right? But just say Donald Trump, and I don't even know the president of China, but Donald Trump is sitting down with the person and he's like, we're gonna do this, and the other president says, well, if you do that, you know you're gonna have to fight us too, right? Now we might be strong, but we cannot, we do not own the world now. It comes through ties, friendships, different needs in different places. Man, it is so easy. It is so easy. It's not easy, but it is very possible for the United States to get wiped off of the map, man. I'm telling you, it's very. And when I say possible, I don't mean there's a possibility that it won't happen or that it's not gonna happen. I'm not saying. What I'm saying is, if a certain group of people got together that really wanted to wipe us off the map, they could. And there would be nothing we could do about it besides fight against them until we lose. We can be wiped off the map if we don't act right. So what I'm saying is, if we don't have approval from certain countries, certain friendships that we have around the world to do certain things, then they will turn against us. They will turn against us, and we can't just we can, like Donald Trump was saying, they'll be met with fire and fury. And he was being real strong with his words, and that's a good thing. And that lets the other person know that, yeah, we mean what we say. But at the same time, we didn't do nothing about the rocket being launched. We didn't shoot it down. That's number 3 that I'm going to. Why we didn't shoot it down. We just let it go where it wanted to go. But yeah, you say things. Let somebody know you serious now. Let everybody know you serious. And then, oh, North Korea still want to do stuff? Okay. But before I do something, I got to make sure now. We got to make sure China and Russia, because China and Russia get together, come up against us, boy, do you know how many people, I said people, do you know, man, if China and Russia got together, they could, just by them two getting together to go against us, the United States, that will automatically make other countries be on their side. Because the other countries that are on our side right now would know what the consequences is of being on the side of the United States. It's suicide. Suicide. So, we can't, it might seem like it, but we can't do whatever we want to. We can't just do whatever we want to. We do some shit now. We do some shit. And we have to be real smart about it, like September 11 now. And that's a whole nother story. We gotta be real smart about the shit we do. If you know what I mean. So shit, yeah. Okay, so we ain't got approval from China yet to hit North Korea. And really, we could see the trajectory. We got ships all around. We could stop the missile whenever we want to. They didn't do no harm to nobody, even though they did break some rules. It's just like you don't send no kid to jail for stealing a bag of chips. You'll send a kid to jail though if he stabs somebody with a screwdriver. So yeah, just a little kid, maybe 5 or 6 years old. You might send him to some kind of crazy juvenile or some other shit that you wouldn't send an adult to. But yeah, they didn't hurt anybody. All they did was break a rule. So that don't mean we get to go in there and kill a bunch of people now. Now check this. Just if you don't know about North Korea, every citizen has to do a certain term in their military, and at a certain stage in their life, they will be in the military for a certain amount of time. And whenever the government asks you to, just like our government can do it too, we'll draft people, and you can either go to jail or you can go fight for the country, and that's a whole different story too. But all the people, they have to do some military time. So basically, you're forced to be in the military. Now, if we were to go over there and fight against their military, United States, and people that understand this already understand it. You would already understand that if we was to fight North Korea, we will be fighting, I would say, there will probably be a couple hundred, maybe a couple hundred. I don't even know for sure. Maybe 100, maybe 20. A couple of people that actually believe and follow the president of North Korea. The rest of them are there because they have to be, and they cannot leave. They are forced to be there. And North Korea won't let us go in there to help them. If somebody from North Korea came over to the United States because they wanted to leave North Korea, which they can't get that far, they can't get to the United States, they just came over here, we wouldn't send them back because we know what they're going through. Those people don't want to be there. They don't like it. They're forced to do things they don't have to do. So every time, it's different from when you fight in a war like against the Nazi Germany and all that. And I'm not even sure about all that. I ain't even thought about them yet. But it almost, I would say 99.9% of the people in the military in North Korea are innocent people. They are not soldiers. They are probably trained to be soldiers, and they're brainwashed. And they would rather not be doing that. So we know if we bomb them or do anything, shoot anybody in their military, we will be killing people that don't even want to be fighting us. They don't want to be in North Korea. We'll be killing innocent people that are just forced to be in the military. And China know that. Russia know that. I know that. If you don't know that, now you know. You know now. And China said, well, I ain't gonna say China said, but I know, pretty sure behind the closed doors, if we don't get approval from China, and if Russia maybe, because China and Russia together, man. If we ain't got one, we ain't got the other. If we don't get approval from, we can't really do nothing like that. So, and another thing they were saying, the reason we didn't shoot it down, you gotta wait for the rocket to go a certain distance. When you think it's gonna do harm to somebody, in which when it flew over Japan, it could have did some harm to, if it would have been flying and then came down and hit that part, because it didn't go over the mainland of Japan, but it went over another part. But they were watching it though, and if it would have just started coming down, then they would have shot it out the air and everything. But see, they didn't do that, because when you do that, you that's letting everybody around the world, everybody is watching you, and even North Korea, they shot the missile. When they see where your missile is coming from and how it acts and all that stuff to shoot down their missile, that gives them information about where you are. That lets China and Russia and India and everybody know where you have your battleships and everything at. So like, we're out there and they know where we at and all this, but you give up a lot of information just by shooting that rocket out. We didn't give up any information by letting it. We just let it go because we knew we could stop it if we wanted to, but we just let it go because if it was gonna do harm, then we would have stopped it before it did harm. So we were checking it while it was flying. We're checking it. Is it gonna do harm? Is it gonna do harm? As soon as we would have known, oh yeah, it's about to do something, then we would have shot it down, and it would have been all over then. We would have been in a war right now. Cause we would have been able to map it out and be like, yeah, it's about to go there, it's about to do that, it's about to do this. But that's why we watch it, so we won't have to give up all our technology and positions and all that. Cause man, the oceans is big, and we got boats in different places. Rockets can come out of submarines from under the water and fly in the sky and do all that shit, man. Now that's some crazy shit, but I know we ain't go to the moon, but that's a whole nother story. But nah, yeah. So for one, North Korea gotta try to defend themselves. They're gonna do some crazy shit, and they did the shit with Barack Obama too. But what they said was, see, people think this is the first time North Korea did it. When they did it with Barack Obama, they just said they were sending a satellite into space. They didn't send a satellite into space. They were testing a rocket while Barack Obama was president. People were like, well, damn, if they would have did it when Barack Obama was president, it would have been different. They did do it. But so yeah, for one, they gonna do crazy stuff. As long as they gonna break rules, and as long as they don't hurt nobody, they good. For two, we didn't. Well, for three, we didn't want to shoot it down because we don't want to give away positions. And for two, we know that if we start fighting their military, then we're basically killing innocent people. And we'd rather take apart their regime and save those people in North Korea and reconstruct their government instead of just killing a bunch of people, man. That's what we'd rather do. Well, that's what I would rather do. I would rather, even if it took killing a certain amount of people, like taking the lives of a certain amount of people to save other lives. I don't know, man, because I ain't never. I'm just saying, certain people have so many people in captive. But yeah, Donald Trump, he got a little head on, and even if he don't, he got people behind him, and the people talking to him, he know. Just like he might be like, oh yeah, let's do this, let's do that, and all the people behind him might be like, yeah, let's do this, let's do that, and then he go over there and be like, hey China, we about to do this, and China be like, no you're not. So that's where I say he got a head on. He ain't crazy. He ain't super crazy. But that's all I got, man. Guess this just behind the scenes.